Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Fuego here!
And we are here to continue our reviews of the Thing from Another World comic books. This is episode number 2 of what's going to be a 5-episode long series. There are that many Thing comic books. The first one was the first 2 issues of The Thing from Another World, which was a sequel to John Carpenter's The Thing.
Correct.
Involving McCready and Childs and everything. So
yes, and the one that Carpenter said he would have adapted into an actual film had he ever had the opportunity.
Now this is The Thing from Another World, Climate of Fear. So just so you see what all of the covers were like, this is cover number 1. I believe the cover artist might actually be the same as the cover artist for the first book.
Interior art,
definitely not so much. Here's the second book, and I love that one.
Yeah,
it's starting to get really dope.
And this is a direct continuation, as Cecil shows all of these to you guys, of the previous book, and it really picks up immediately where the last 2 shot left off. And so McCready, he's like washed up on like an iceberg of sorts, and apparently, yeah, he is found after escaping this submarine that he filled up with all of this just icy cold water in an attempt to trap the thing and have it, you know, sink down to the bottom of the ocean or whatever. He's like, okay, Childs has got to be dying, whatever. I'm somehow going to escape and make my way up there. Hypothermia, you know, frostbite, potential of death, whatever. He is indeed found by some rescuers from the Argentinian team.
And it goes immediately wrong.
Oh, of course. Check that out. Yeah, with the seal and all that stuff. So that just
that's the depiction, or that's the art difference from the last issue. You'll notice the last series was very photorealistic and very Clayton Crane-ish. This, we are back to a very comic booky style where it's just clearly just a mashup of different characters, or different types of characters and colors.
Yeah, and it feels like a lot of the stuff that I saw in the early 90s art-wise from Dark Horse, whether it was a, you know, Predator book or a Terminator book, Aliens, all the big properties that they had at the time. I mean, they did good stuff writing with it in certain instances, but not always in the art department. The art department was just, I don't know, it was the themes and things like that they were going through that were cool, just continuations. Not so much the artwork, but I mean, he ends up waking up in a warmer climate, hence the whole climate aspect in the titling. Yes, the climate of fear is basically how scary would it be, and they touch upon this in one of the other brief series, like how fast this alien just virus creature presence whatever could expand in a warmer climate. They talk about that in the Dark Horse comics,
which we'll get to.
Yeah, which we will eventually get to, but. So yeah, he's in Argentina, he wakes up, and he's immediately just taken aback because, holy crap, I'm not in, you know, a snowy, just crazy sub-zero area, what the hell is going down? And he's immediately fearful that, okay, you found me, you brought me back here because I was on the verge of death and you're trying to nurse me back to health, but what could have been brought back with? And story-wise, this is where I did have some problems with it because it did feel like, once again, the same things that we've seen before, where it's like, okay, you know that there is a presence here, you know, only one cell can infect somebody, and then everybody starts turning on everybody. And so, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, once realizing where he is and what could potentially be going on, especially with the warmer climate, anybody could be infected, and it just delves back into those tropes that we've seen, and the last couple Thing books, I mean, it's always going to turn into who's infected, who is going to turn on each other.
He goes crazy on a bunch of sheep.
Turn on each other proverbially, and yeah, but that's where he was like standing by the window, remember, and he was watching the sheep, and he was trying to look for the one that might potentially be infected, and apparently he did indeed see, because that's where
there's some really dope artwork here, man.
Like, there is though. And that is the one thing that I do have to double down on.
Someone sees this sheep that he didn't kill and goes over and puts their arm on it, and it works like the Venom symbiote almost. And then it turns out that, of course, it's a giant thing. And look at that dope artwork, man. It's so cool.
And that's throughout all 4 issues, is the fact that I didn't really go over the moon for the people artworut, but the artist, if you want to like mention who it was.
Yeah, let's give proper credit where credit's due.
John Arcudi is the one who actually wrote it.
Somerville, it looks like. With inks by Brian Garvey, letters by Richard Starkings. Richard Starkings, who did Elephant Men.
And I know John
later
Arcudi
on.
is a guy who wrote a lot of the genre stuff that was like the big properties
Mm-hmm.
for Dark Horse at the time. I know he did some Alien work a few different times, maybe some Predator work,
Oh, man,
maybe
this
some
is
Terminator
dope.
work.
Look at this stuff.
But there is some that's where the artist,
Look at this
especially with Arcudi's direction as a writer, is able to really blossom and draw some really crazy looking shizzle. This is not a PG-13 comic in its
No.
artwork. Once you get to some gory creature design and some violence and some craziness.
Now,
Boy,
the big thing about
as the
this,
later
though,
issues go down,
as the later issues go down,
Yeah.
you see that McCready and Childs are both in the mix.
oh well, you just broke the
No, they're
bit
both
then.
in the mix.
Child
We
shows
still
back up.
don't know
Child
who's
shows
what,
back up
though,
in
do
a
we?
later. Well, Child shows up
Right,
later. He
right.
shows up like 2 or 3.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. It's a
issue-wise,
sequel.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But
Because you think he died in the submarine, and then he didn't die in the submarine. Minor spoiler.
what I'm trying to say is that this is the book that ultimately answers which one of them is actually the thing.
Indeed, it does.
And that's
Indeed,
what's
it does.
really, really dope about this book.
Well, or at least who has become it, because
Right.
they give some bait and switch. They make
Right.
you think at one particular point with a blood test that one of them
Yeah,
is,
which is a
and
good
then-
scene.
which I thought so too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it ends issue 2, if I remember
I'm
correctly.
about to get there. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
find out.
it ends issue 2 where you think one character is it, and then they give you a little flip flop, and then they end issue 3 with realizing a different character is it, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So Childs basically did actually survive the submarine bit that we saw in the previous
dope.
2-issue bit, and so he shows up with this U.S. Naval Battalion, and they just explain it away really quickly. McCready's like, I can understand how you found me because you must have talked to the Argentinians at the base you were with, and they told you where I went. And you're like, okay, that's a very convenient explanation. That's why you're suddenly showing up. Iconic character.
Right.
But nonetheless, it was great to see him return for this because the two of them were the biggest names and the ones that you wanted to see, a continuing story of after the, Carpenter re-envisioning. And
And then it's revealed at the end of issue 2
yeah.
who it is. Now, we can't say what,
No, 'cause we're
at
not
least
trying
not
to
in this
spoil this.
review. We'll
No.
spoil it at the beginning of the next review.
The drawings of
The
when
drawings
you
are
find who it
so
actually
dope,
is are
though.
really cool. Yeah, they are.
They look really, really cool. I'm not going to give away, so I got to be very careful about what I show going forward here.
Well, and the back and forth at this something Del Fuego place where this former military base is, where they're all hanging out at, and there used to be an air hangar there, and so there's a lot of just burning of things and trying to contain and just failing miserably. And I don't know, there's one point in time where a character starts to get infected in his arm, and then he chops his arm off, and he survives it, and he's seemingly okay after chopping his arm off. He plays a pivotal role in some of the later bits. So it actually, even though I wasn't digging it so much initially, it really grew on me despite some of the, going back to the well.
I
for
really
the same,
like this one, yeah.
yeah. I mean, going back to the well of some of the same beats of just accusing one another and the bunker mentality of being in this isolated area, telling each other, oh, we should call in for backup, and they're like, no, this is a contagion. We can't have more people come here. We could spread this, and
I legitimately can't show any of this because it spoils.
it's so spoilery in the back
Who it
2
is, yeah.
issues, big time. So, I don't know. It just really turns into a fire fest in those last
It
couple
does,
episodes.
but it's really dope. There's a lot of
It
great
is.
creature artwork, but
It is.
I
And-
can't
and there's
show
the
who's
doctor-
fighting it.
Well, and there's the doctor who's got the crush on McCready, and so that's a subplot kind of
Absolutely.
thing that's going down. And it's just really all, it's the who is and who is not, which I don't even know if it's a trope necessarily. It just has to be a steadfast
Here, I
kind
can
of
show this
plot
at least.
point.
This is a good piece of art.
Yeah.
It's really dope.
Anytime there is the just manifestation and the transition of who is actually infected, every one of those is unique and really cool looking and well realized, visualized. They're all very unique and very cool. It's a violent book.
It is.
really
It's
is.
really,
Yeah.
really dope, though. Like, as someone that loves, again, the body horror stuff of The Thing and these crazy creatures are why I loved the movie so much, and they give us plenty of this here. Unfortunately, in the follow-up to this, the creature is purple all the time, and I
don't like the
freaking hated
follow-up
it.
to.
I don't either.
I don't like Eternal.
I would
Vows
like to
very much,
disavow
man.
Eternal Vows.
Ah,
I would like to eternally disavow the
Eternal
next
Vows.
one.
I'm thinking of a panel in maybe the second issue of this that I thought was really cool, where you realize one character is infected, and these two other characters walk up to it, and the hands go into like up into the lips and the face and everything, and it's not even gory. It's just suggestive about how the skin and the face is going to be ripped off, and it's really cool. It's after they're all accusing each other, and they just kill in cold blood the one character. They just shoot him down, and then they bury him, and turns out he was infected. And
so they don't actually show who's infected until the 4th issue.
That's
here.
what I thought. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's the very. So this is the second to last page where right before they reveal it. So everyone's still in play for the entire series, but the very end of this does finally reveal it, which makes it all the more weird that they just dump the thread for the next story. Why would they do that?
So in the story that takes
Oh wait,
place,
no, I went backwards. Okay, so
I was going to say I know it's at the end. It's at the end of 3.
3 revealed it, and then 4 resolved it. Okay. I just looked at them backwards because you handed them to me backwards. Thank you very much for that.
Well, it's all my fault.
Thank you very much for that. Yes. I couldn't have looked at the cover and just seen myself.
Sorry. But Eternal Vow is the one that comes here after.
But let's stick with this. Let's finish this up.
I mean, it just takes place in a completely different place and doesn't necessarily continue the story. It's more of its own thing. But,
right. It does. Yeah. It does in after the fashion. But
you should read this after the 2-part kind of
Absolutely.
thing. Like, I mean, watch the film, read the 2-part, read. The climate of fear. That's right. Yep. Yeah. And it really just that title is with reference to the fact that they could spread just insanely in a warmer climate, and you're in Argentina for this,
and there is a climate of fear when these things are known about. So
exactly, accusing each other of who could be and who could not be.
So I think it's clear we both really liked this one. At least it was a great follow-up to the last one. It's starting to get a little bit comic bookier, with the thing, but the thing still looks really intimidating, and the colors are still variable, and it's still really interesting and fun as a follow-up. I think these 6 issues, the last 2 plus these 4, make a great follow-up to the movie.
It still feels within the same spirit of the original film, which
resolves everything.
Which I cannot say, and yet they don't even resolve everything, because at the very end of this, it almost feels like it ends prematurely, and it doesn't give you post-epilogue explanation, which I thought was going to come in Eternal Vows, and doesn't really. So
all right, well, that's gonna do it though for our review of The Thing from Another World, Climate of Fear. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments down below, is this something that you're gonna try and track down? I highly recommend it. I said it in the last review. There is about 10, the follow-up to The Thing is 10 issues. So you have the 2 issue The Thing from Another World, you have 4 issues The Thing Climate of Fear, and then 4 issues The Thing Eternal Vows, and then you have 4 issues of the Dark Horse Comics Presents that are just 4 8-page stories all put together.
So it's really a one-shot divided up.
It is. So this is, but this one is worth your time. The last one is worth your time. Maybe not so much on Eternal Vows, but we'll go into that in the next episode of The Horror Show Reviews The Thing comic books.
Sure.
Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click that like button and subscribe to make sure you don't miss future episodes. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much to our patrons for supporting the channel in such a way. We greatly appreciate you as well.
Hell yes.
Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I'm Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.
Still.